Hi, this is Shamrondi from Life Design Topics, and the specifics of this video, I wanted to pull it from other ones that I've made and speak specifically about it. And it is about managing, yourself when you're having a baby. All right. Let's start before we get to the place of, let's start at 20 weeks, okay? So when you're around 20 weeks, you've probably established who the doctor is going to be. You're going to decide if you want to get yourself a private doctor, find out what hospitals they're connected with. I highly recommend that you get yourself a doctor that has a midwife operating out of their practice, okay? What is really important about all of that is you want to make sure that there's a good balance of somebody that equally believes just as strongly as you do, right? Yes, I can naturally have a baby, but someone that is equipped to be able to handle situations as they arise in the case where there's emergencies. Now, emergencies is one of those words that's really, I think it's really relative. What I have learned, and it also has to do with where you are geographically, what kind of reputations the hospitals have in your area, that type of thing. But you want to have some level of self-confidence. And going down the journey of having a baby, even when any woman pretty much can be considered high risk, pretty much, okay? Many women can be considered high risk. I think that when you're going down that journey, you need to make sure that you're taking the time to edify yourself. Educate. Know about everything, all the different facets of having a baby. What does a natural birth look like? You should be able to go and look into these things, okay? Look into these things, research, see what a natural birth looks like, see what an assisted birth looks like, see what an assisted birth with suction or stirrups or, clamps or whatever the case may be, right? Wherever the technology is nowadays. Research what that is. Also research what the medicines are and the things that numb you and, what can induce your labor, the potentials of, how your laboring is going to change once you take in something that's inducing, Pitocin or something like that. And what is going to make all of that even practical for you? The fact that you sought out this information, that right there is a good sign, okay? Find out if you can get yourself a doula. Find out if you can get yourself a midwife. Find out how the midwife can be paid. Most insurances are not going to cover you having a doula. See, what kind of exchange that can be made. Find out if she takes payment plans. Find out what your meetings are actually going to be limited to, because you're going to need to have that thought process around you to make sure that it's a healthy experience, okay? Then there is something else. And I think it's a Japanese saying where they say everybody has different faces, that we all have three faces. One we give to the public, one we give to our immediate family, then the one that we have just, where we're just dealing with ourselves. I am going to highly suggest that after you have your baby, start preparing for what that is going to look like, okay? You may want to enlist somebody to be able to help you with your aftercare and caring for what's going on in your home, making sure that you can fully rest yourself after you have a baby. I was fortunate to have a lot of help the first time that I had a baby, but because even though I had my baby naturally, and there were still health concerns, it was I was still up and about soon after. Now the up and about soon after was only possible by the grace of God, but by the fact that I had that baby naturally, okay? Had I not had the baby naturally, I would have still been in the care of being in the hospital, limited movement, I would have had to, use apparatuses on the bed to make sure that my circulation was still, moving about as it should, whatever the case may be. It's very important to try your best to know what you want your birth story to look like, okay? So that's the other thing. Write your birth story down. Write it down, go over it, revise it, look at it from one day to the next week, revise it and type it up. Type up the condensed, shortened version of it so you can share it with the people that are going to be close to you when it's time for you to have your baby. The most important part of everything that I'm saying right now, because all of that, it's more than likely you've already done that kind of research if you came across this video, right? But this is about, like, how do you stay in control with everything going on around you? You may have to take some pauses where it's like, shh, you're telling everybody to shush around you. You're closing your eyes, meditating. Look that up, okay? It's going to be so important, because if you do not have that way of being able to command your environment, they're going to command you and tell you what you need to do, regardless if it's something that you want to do or not, okay? No, it's not easy having a baby. It is quite painful for most women. Not all women have heavy-duty birth pains. Not all women do. My mom, she didn't. My mom didn't have like terrible labor pains and things like that, and I was her first child, so she had two more children after me, and she had a few more. She had like, I think 3 more pregnancies after me, but she had 2 more children after me. So it was fair to say that, okay, that really was her experience, because she was able to duplicate it. She had other experiences after that. One thing that is really important, and I took it from the stories that she did. She didn't advise me on this. It's what I took from the stories. And then a piece of advice I was given was be brave, right? So let me pass that on to you. Be brave. You're strong, okay? Your ancestors have been doing this for centuries and centuries and lifetimes and lifetimes. You are totally capable of having a natural birth, granted that you are healthy enough to have a natural birth, okay? The other thing is the noises. You cannot be in a place where you are hollering down the entire atmosphere and environment and the floor and the corridor that you're in to have a baby and think that you're not going to be treated accordingly, okay? Now, if your baby is crowning, that means like he is already in the birth canal, he's about to come out and you hollering, that's different. I'm talking about in the laboring, and you're indecisive. Should I take drugs? No, I don't know if I should take drugs. Should I take drugs? Stop. This is something that you're going to have to really get to the place and know that you are called to a task. It's a very important task. See the importance of the task that you're doing. Know that you are starting your own lineage of legacy. Know that your child deserves to have a fully operational mama after the birth, okay? And you want to have that experience. You want to have that experience. It is going to make for great memories. It's also going to shape the way that you rear your child growing up, right? People never talk about that. I never hear anybody talk about that, right? There's like always this big disconnect, and then it's like if you're somebody that thinks life needs to be all about being heavily medicated, then your entire existence going forward is you're going to think everything needs to be heavily medicated when there's some situations that need to just be handled with compromise and communication and understanding. And if you do not put that kind of discipline into play now, you are going to suffer later on. You have to have that kind of discipline. It is personal discipline, okay? In my opinion, if you're not ready to handle the pains of childbirth, you probably want to get yourself on a good IUD or birth control, get, some Norplan in your arm, get yourself an IUD put in your womb, or, you know, explore your options. Explore your options, because it is not for the faint. It's not for the chicken. It is, you have to be strong. Okay, even chickens are brave, for goodness sake. They're passing out eggs daily, and the baby that you need to pass out, you're acting like you cannot handle the pain. You need to talk yourself out of that. I would also recommend maybe there is some kind of like subconscious meditation that you can listen to while you're sleeping, that's going to prepare you to be fully calm and to be fully ready for that experience of having the child. Okay, I feel like it's something that you really need to savor. Even if it is pain, you do need to savor it, because all of those things, they're triggering different signals, and they're triggering chemicals that run through your brain, okay, that runs through your body. There's just a total different awareness that you even have after you have a child. I don't know if you've heard of this, but I know this happened many times, where the dynamics of someone's love relationship changes after the baby comes. Why is that? Because there is a transformation that happens to the mother. It's chemically, click click click, it's a clicking, it's something that happens chemically with a mom. Okay, and you need to realize that it's natural, it's part of life. You want to definitely try to nurture your love relationship as much as possible during this process. You want to always affirm your partner and thank them all the time when they're helping you, when they're doing things to make your experience easier, and that you're not going through it by yourself. Okay, so back up. You want to make sure that you can control the noise that you're making when you're having this baby. Your lips, these two things, right? You cannot holler and scream if your lips are kept together. Just keep it together. That's it. Keep it together, right? You cannot, it's easier to, get out of the throes of passion of having sex if you keep your legs closed, right? Same thing with hollering. You can't holler if you're not opening your lips. Take deep breaths. Pace yourself with putting those breaths out. Be in the moment. Be grateful that you made it through the breath. Right? Always survey your environment. Close your eyes if you need a different level of peace. Right? Moan. Rock if you need to. A lot of times they don't want us to labor, on our knees or on floors and all of this. They take away that they in the hospitals, right? They take you out of that as quick as possible, because they want to be able to monitor everything for the sake of all the paper trailing and everything, and what else they can do to you in that process. So that's why I'm going to recommend that you start your journey with seeing if you can be connected with a doula, or a midwife, or whatever the case may be, right? Because the natural movements of a woman's body is, from the top all the way down to the bottom. You actually want to be more upright, because you want gravity to work for you. You may want to think about, when you start looking into the processes of natural childbirth, you are going to discover that there's all kinds of birthing balls, birthing stools, right? There is so much that's available to you. Okay, and some hospitals, they found that sweet little balance. There's a few hospitals. Research your hospitals, okay? Also research the number of births that a hospital puts out annually, and then compare it to the amount of births that other hospitals in the surrounding area put out, okay? That may not be your determining factor, but it will be a factor in knowing that they can handle any kind of emergency that happens in the course of your birth, okay? But think about all these things. There's so much product. Educate yourself about all of that. Start preparing. At 20 weeks, you should be thinking about, okay, do I want to do breastfeeding? All right, I'll be able to squeeze in 2 weeks of breastfeeding, 2 months of breastfeeding, whatever. A year of breastfeeding, 15 months of breastfeeding. The most you can, make it happen. Even if you start out not breastfeeding the baby, you can still be able to get that baby to latch back on and to want to breastfeed. I was actually successfully able to help a mother out of Brownsville, Brooklyn. I will never forget. Her baby had already been on the bottle for 2 weeks. and she did want him to go back to breastfeeding, and I was able to successfully help her to make that happen again. Now that is not something that a lot of people have the patience to want to help young mothers with, but you want to find like-minded individuals, even if you're just in contact with that person, via the internet. Even that is great. Find yourself a support group, find yourself maybe a Facebook group, see if there's a meeting that happens in your community, in your network, see if there is a pro bono or community funded doula group or something like that. Find a way for whatever your tax bracket can allow, okay? Yeah, the birth story that you write for yourself, it's very important. It sets the foundation. It helps sets the foundation for how you rear that child, how you nurture that child, how you educate that child, how you discipline that child, okay? And also how you see yourself after you've had that baby, okay? And don't forget to take care of yourself in the process before the baby, and know that you need to make time to take care of yourself during the process of after the baby comes. And the baby goes out for a nap, that's the time. Get yourself a good shower stool if you don't have one, and you don't have a bathtub or something like that, and make sure you're able to take your time when you're taking your baths and caring for your body, and pamper yourself, okay? You need mothering in the process of mothering your new child. All right. Have a blessed one.